In motorsports, the difference between victory and second place is often measured in thousandths of a second. And in today's manufacturing industry, not being left behind isn't just about speed. It's about precision, performance, and the power of digital manufacturing. I'm Travis Egan of IMTS, the Association for Manufacturing Technology. And over the past several years of my 25 years in manufacturing, I've seen a tremendous transformation, a change from the physical to the digital, from the reactive to the predictive, and from isolated systems to connected ecosystems. I'm here at one of the companies at the forefront of this transformation, Hendrick Motorsports. We are here to explore how the right mindset, the right partnerships, and the right technology are driving innovation, not just on the racetrack, but across the entire manufacturing industry. Today, we'll learn from several of Hendrick Motorsports' leaders, because what happens here is a blueprint for modern manufacturing. Every component is scrutinized, every process is optimized, and every decision is driven by data, because the difference between winning and losing can come down to thousandths of a second. I'm very honored to be here today with an individual who embodies ambition, speed, and greatness. NASCAR legend number 24, Jeff Gordon. Jeff, it's really great to be here.
Yeah, pleasure. Nice to have you here on our campus and good to spend some time with you.
So you have a very storied career. You have some 93 career victories. You have some 4 Cup Series championships. And you sort of single-handedly brought stock car racing into sort of the mainstream with your early success back in the late 90s. So from my perspective, in those early days, it was more about gut feel and instinct to win a race.
Yeah, there was times where I felt like technology wasn't playing near as big of a role, and it just felt like it was a little bit more old school type of racing. But rapidly I saw how that was changing in my career and towards the end of my career.
So you've lived this evolution. I mean, you were there in sort of those early days when technology was maybe just catching on. NASCAR's always been about competition, but that competition has kind of changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild now when you talk to the engineers, you talk to the crew chiefs, and even when I'm talking to the drivers about how they're driving the cars and the things that they're having to do to prepare for a race or what they do within a race to try. You're always trying to find an advantage, right? Try to find margins that get you ahead of your competitors. And now, those margins are just so small. I mean, we're searching for thousandths, hundredths of a second, thousandths of a second on the racetrack. When you're dealing with that small of a margin and that kind of precision, you're now having to look at every aspect of the car because you want to stack those up in as many areas as possible. Precision and accuracy, reliability, I think has never been more important than it is today in NASCAR.
Speaking of competition, let me introduce you to another great leader here at Hendrick Motorsports, Chad Canals. Chad is the Vice President of Competition, a fellow gearhead from Illinois who went from crew chief to Vice President to Hall of Famer. It's a pleasure to meet you, Chad.
Well, thanks, Travis. Glad to be here today.
How has manufacturing technology, innovation played a role in your success on the racetrack?
If you go back to the early years of my Cup career, we at Hendrick Motorsports, we manufactured about 85% of the race car. And that was really good because we could manage the quality, manage the process. We managed all of that internally at Hendrick Motorsports. As the generations of cars have changed, and now we're in the Gen 7 car, it's kind of flip-flopped for us because a lot of the manufacturing is outside of our control. So we've really focused now on the granular aspects of the components we get. Now, whether that be from a weight, a dimensional change, or something of that nature, that's how we create the speed in our race cars.
So I'm curious, how do you guys here at Hendrick Motorsports find the newest tools, technologies, or manufacturing processes? Really, how do you discover the things that you didn't know you needed?
No, I think a lot of that is partnering with the right people, like Hexagon, for instance. What I've been really proud of is as our industry has changed, we've been able to retain the majority of our workforce and train them into new roles. the training that we get from Hexagon, we're able to send people there. They come to us, they train our people up. And a guy that was a mechanic, that maybe his role has changed, he's been able to, skill up basically and learn a new job and be a very productive part of our organization. So it's really fun to have great partners like Hexagon to be able to do that. For instance, we can go to the Hendrick Center for Quality Excellence, and I can show you guys around, and you can see a little bit of what we've got going on back there, which is really in its infancy because we just opened it a few months ago, but it's growing very rapidly.
I'd love that. Let's go check it out.
Check it out.
So Roy, it seems to me like the days of sort of tinkering and using feedback, just voice to voice to tune a car are kind of over. It's kind of shifted to this high technology world that's about digital twin and artificial intelligence and automation really making the difference on the racetrack. Could you talk about how advanced manufacturing has impacted the racing team, and in particular metrology and inspection, and what that impact has had on the race and winning races?
Yeah, for sure. It's been transformative for us. We are gathering so much more data than we used to. We're collecting all this data, putting it in a common format, putting it in a common database, and then everybody's able to follow along with all this data. It has really helped empower everybody and at all points of the process when we manufacture these cars.
And I see it out there. There's arms on, sometimes 2 arms on every car out there, and then you've got all the inspection equipment in here. So it's all throughout Hendrick Motorsports.
It's verifying the individual parts, and it's even verifying the bulk piece, the entire race car. It's validating the measures and making sure that what we have when we put the car together lines up with what we expect to see based on the individual measure data that we gather. It's been a great partnership with Hexagon, and like I said, we've been able to expand it out to the entire manufacturing process for our cars.
Scott, you're embedded here pretty much on a day-to-day basis, and you've got to be a part of that transformation. It's a pretty good gig. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I started working with Hendrick Motorsports as a Hexagon sales rep back in 07, and this is kind of one of the devices that it started with. This is an absolute arm. And so that was the first venture that I had with Hendrick Motorsports. I already had some of our stationary CMMs in the engine shop, but we really started with this with, as Roy said, 1 unit, and then it grew because we were able to show the ease of use of our system and the power that it gave them and the information, and it was all about, I need that information to make decisions, right?
I'd love the opportunity to get my hands dirty here and see if I can do it.
So it's just a handheld system. So just like you're holding a pistol, I say here, you got a little pistol grip. You'll see the red box and the blue laser line. The blue laser line is actually the one that measures. So when you get that blue laser line inside the red box, just press the red trigger and let go. Then you can just scan across the part and collect the data. Nice thing, I've already measured the table, so it won't even be in the data if you happen to collect that. If you just pull the trigger and let it go, you're gonna start collecting data.
Is it okay that I
you're outside?
Out?
Yeah, now you're closer. You gotta get a little closer, yeah, and stay.
First time.
There you go. Now we're scanning. And so at the same time, you just collected 1 million points, right? Of point cloud data in 10 seconds, right? As the first time you've ever touched the device.
Am I doing a good job here? Because I'm going red and green.
Yeah, you just see that now you're a little too close. Back up. There you go. And the nice thing is, you won't get bad data, you just won't get any data. You're basically missing the camera when you're too close or too far. So.
And how do I know when I got the whole thing? I can kind of see it there.
Yeah, we'll start to see it on the screen. We'll just zoom in. And so even you can read the lettering, right? This is a BBS forged wheel. Yeah, and then you press the button, it'll pause and put us in a stop. Yeah, and there it goes.
That's cool.
So now you're a 3D laser scanner.
Feels good. Okay, so we talked a lot about partnerships, but partnerships are a two-way street. Do you ever look back to them and get some feedback on how they're using your equipment or what their needs are so that you can perhaps develop your next generation of product?
Yeah, 100%. Along the way, since I said I've been working with Hendrick Motorsports since 07, I know for a fact there's functionality and specific attributes to our hardware and our software that came about because of Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, their success is our success. I love to watch them win on Sundays, right? These guys will be in a better mood. I take it as to the fact that, as Roy said, when they do win, they feel it's their component went into that to do it, and I feel the same.
Yeah. Well, be watching Talladega this weekend.
That's right, for sure.
The truth is, this kind of innovation isn't exclusive to racing. The same principles apply whether you're building a car, airplane, medical devices, or defense systems. What Hendrick Motorsports does with Hexagon's digital manufacturing solutions reflects what every manufacturer needs today: speed, precision, agility, and insight, all delivered through connected digital technologies. Innovation isn't just for the elite, it's for everyone. And with the right partner, the finish line gets closer every day.